Okay, one at a time. Okay, approximately how far between Bellvilla, Sumter intersection and where you did your U-turn?
Less than a quarter mile.
Okay, now the follow-up question would be,
Stop for, all that. What were you on?
Yeah, I didn't observe.
So you did.
I did not observe you use a turret.
So.
no, I don't think, he said, I did not see you use a turn signal.
Oh, that's all.
Your question is, could he see
Yeah.
that distance?
Yeah, I could see the lack of the.
I've yet to find anything that works on this one. Are we ready? Okay. All right, let's call a witness.
Michael Pearl.
Officer, come on up. Raise your right hand for me. Swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Watch your step on the ramp. Have a seat in that chair. When you get over there, hand me that box of Kleenexes.
Sure.
I don't expect you to get a little weepy today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, Your Honor.
Yes, please.
Hey, Your Honor. Morning, Officer Pearl.
Morning.
Sir, how many years have you worked as a police officer?
About 6 years.
Taking you back to June 22nd, 2024, at about 11:20 at night. Were you working?
Yes.
What were your responsibilities, Officer Pearl, on that evening?
Go, respond to calls and perform my regular duties.
Were you in a vehicle or were you stationary?
I was in the vehicle.
Marked and unmarked vehicle? Were you in uniform or plain clothes? Officer Pearl, on June 22nd, 2024, did you meet a gentleman named Daniel Bradford?
Yes.
Is this on the record exactly? If you want to go and hopefully you know what we speak.
Very good.
Let's see where.
Or a green.
Your Honor, may the
Sure.
record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant, Mr. Bradford.
Noted for the record.
Are you referring to the?
Well, you said you met a man, Mr. Bradford.
Okay, yes.
So what caused you to interact with him or notice?
I attempted to pull him over. I'm traffic stop.
In the vehicle or was he walking?
Using the vehicle.
You remember the vehicle?
Yes.
What model?
It was a Chrysler Common Country.
You remember what color?
Purple in color.
Was he alone or did he have an occupant with him in the vehicle?
He had a single pass.
Was Mr. Bradford driving or was he the passenger?
He was driving.
What did you notice about his driving?
I noticed that he disobeyed a stop sign and failed to signal his turn
On what street did that occur?
at the intersection of Belleville Boulevard and Sumter Road.
In what community?
The city of Belleville.
What else did you notice about Mr. Bradford's driving?
I observed that after I had activated my overhead lights, his speed increased significantly.
What does that mean he was a police officer?
He was attempting to flee or elude me.
Officer Pearl, when you first noticed the defendant and he disregarded the stop sign, were you next to him, behind him, or in front of him? In front of his vehicle.
I was, he was coming at me, so he was in front of me.
Where was your vehicle when Mr. Bradford began to drive at a higher rate of speed?
I'd say in the area of Sumter Road and Owen by 600 Sumter.
Your Honor, I would like to address the court and say that request earlier to increase the charge. The defendant has enough pain later on that to seek that increase.
Thank you. No problem.
Officer Pearl, when if at all did you attempt to make a traffic stop? At what point?
I was passing the Belleville Plaza where Dollar Tree is on Sumter Road.
Can you estimate for his honor the amount of time or the distance you spent pursuing this offense?
About 3/4 of a mile.
What part of, did you have overhead lights and siren?
Yes,
Did you activate either or both or none of those items?
both.
Were they functioning?
Yes.
Did Mr. Bradford heed your request to pull the motor?
No,
You remember the time this occurred?
this was just before midnight, I believe.
Officer Pearl, did you form an opinion one way or the other whether the defendant knew you were trying to pull him over?
Yes.
What's the basis for having an opinion? What is your?
Can you rephrase this question, please?
Sure. And you activated your overhead lights,
Yes.
and you said you didn't stop doing it
Correct.
for about a mile,
Yes.
and you increased speed.
Yes.
Did you form an opinion whether he knew you were there trying to pull him over?
Yes. My opinion was he was actively trying to flee.
Sir, ultimately, did you stop him?
Yes.
And when you stopped him, did you make any observations about his state of sobriety?
Yes.
What did you do which enabled you to detect and notice the state of sobriety?
As Mr. Bradford was exiting his vehicle, a partially full can of Corona beer fell out of his lap. As he was being taken into custody, I observed him having bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred speech, and he admitted an odor of intoxicants from his breath was stolen.
Did you inquire of him whether he had consumed any alcohol that late afternoon or evening?
I don't remember if we inquired on his alcohol intake that night.
Tell the judge the status of Mr. Bradford's driver's license on the vehicle.
Revoked.
How do you know that?
His return and leave is.
Without telling us the results, did you perform a PPT?
No.
Did you make any efforts to gain any blood or breath from him for analysis?
I asked him if he would be willing to submit to a chemical blood test.
What did he say?
He refused.
Well, did he submit eventually to a chemical blood test?
Yes, we had to get a search warrant.
Did you gain a search warrant?
Yes.
Do you remember from which jurors please? Remember the judge?
I don't remember the exact judge, I'm sorry.
Are you with the one the blood is extracted?
Yes.
Where does that take place?
Orwell Cannon.
Do you remember who extracted the blood or what type of position that person had?
I don't remember her name, but no, she was a registered nurse. I think her last name started with Italy, like that.
Now, what if anything did you notice about the defendant's breath?
It smelled like intoxicants.
Your Honor, at this point, I would move to admit proposal to the board if I may approach. I've shown a copy to the defendant.
Thank you.
Your Honor, what I've just sent to the judge is the lab report issued on July 10 of 2024. Michigan State Police, its laboratory number from me, 2X24 9569.
Right here is where the case quietly starts stacking up. A missed stop sign and no turn signal might sound minor, but legally, that's all an officer needs to justify a traffic stop. And once that stop is valid, everything that follows, every observation, every piece of evidence becomes fair game. Question for you. Do you think most people realize how small mistakes like this can snowball into serious charges?
And the result of this blood analysis, according to the Michigan State Police, namely Diane Bennett, forensic scientist, the defendant had blood alcohol level of 0.150. So with that, Your Honor, go for the question.
Are you moving for this to be admitted?
Yes.
Mr. Bradford, any objection to exhibit number 1 being admitted into evidence? Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you've already got a mark. Mr. Bradford, do you have any questions for Officer Pearl, sir?
Yes.
Okay. You can stay right there or you can come up to the podium, either one.
Say you were report that you were posting in front of the vehicle down some road. When you said lights,
No, I initiated my lights after you passed me, I had to turn around. So I was behind you when I initiated my emergency lights.
So then how far was it between the places where you had the U-turn?
Yeah,
How far was that between the time you took the major U-turn?
it was fairly quick. It was, I turned around and I exited my lights shortly thereafter.
So you said the car was, speeding already, or was it fleeing from who you was?
No, your speed didn't increase until I turned on my lights.
Well, the question was the car already speeding, or
No.
you think that the car was speeding or already fleeing before it stopped?
Let me stop you because I'm confused by the question. I think what you're asking him is, did he think you were traveling over the speed limit before he got behind you? Is that what you're asking him?
Far as the fleeing and eluding.
No. Just, is that the question you want to know is did he think you were speeding while you were still approaching each other? Is that the question? At that point, while you're still approaching? Okay, you understand that question?
I don't believe you were, no. Technically, you can't even be fleeing if my lights aren't activated.
That answer the question? Okay, any other questions?
Yes. One other. So after you stopped the car, you didn't have footage on your camera. Stop.
I have footage of the entire incident, yes. Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, any follow-up?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned to the judge about the stop sign violation. Did the defendant commit any other civil infractions in your presence?
He failed to use his turning signal when he was turning onto Sumter Road from Balboa Boulevard.
Lastly, can you tell the judge the speed limit of the beginning time when defendant fled to when you finally pulled him over? You know what the speed was?
So when he initially started fleeing, the speed limit was 40 miles an hour, and he was traveling upwards of 68 miles an hour. And when we
Was
crossed,
the speed limit ever diminished before he was finally pulled over?
yes,
What's the speed limit in that area where you finally pulled him over?
in the area from the train tracks to where he eventually stopped his vehicle, it's 30 miles an hour.
Thank you so much. Nothing further, Judge.
Any follow-up questions? Yeah, go ahead.
So, the road you said was Belleville Boulevard,
Yeah,
how far is that from the initial stop? How far is that from when you took the route?
Let me stop, because once again, I want to clean up your question. I think what you're asking is from where you pulled out onto Sumter Road to when he did the U-turn, how far is that?
Yes. When you came.
Okay, one at a time. Okay, approximately how far between Bellevilla, Sumter intersection and where you did your U-turn?
less than a quarter mile.
Okay, now the follow-up question would be,
Say the road curve, stop before, all of that. What were you wrong?
Yeah, I didn't observe.
So you did.
I did not observe you use a turn.
So, what?
no, I don't think, he said, I did not see you use a turn signal.
Oh, that's all.
Your question is, could he see
Yeah.
that distance?
Yeah, I could see the lack of the turn signal use, yes.
That's it? All right, Officer Pearl, you can step down. Watch your, thank you. Watch your step on the ramp. All right. Okay. Are we ready for argument? Go ahead.
In this case, we have proven to you that the defendant drove with an unlawful blood alcohol. We've also proven to you that he was driving while under the influence based on the observations made by the officer. You're running the speed limit in part of the area where defendant was fleeing is 35 or less. So that would enable us, if it's fourth degree flame, to get third degree flame. It also becomes third degree flame because defendant's a prior conviction for fleeing and eluding, which is part of the packet. We believe probable cause has been established that the defendant committed count one, Your Honor, fleeing and eluding third degree, count two, OWI third, death constitution, private license, piggyback one, three, seven. We respectfully would seek a fine over judge on the three counts.
All right, Mr. Bradford, any argument?
Keep us up, just looking at this. It's serving mechanisms. Not very fulfilling time. If it was, we should have more before.
Okay, well, you'll probably have more before it's time for trial if that's where this is headed. But my question is, do you have any argument to the bind over in response to the argument Mr. Kaplan just made?
Yes, I'll ask for a preliminary example.
I'm sorry, say what? This is a preliminary examination. Yeah, this is the probable cause hearing today. What we just did was a preliminary exam.
Sorry about that. I'll see that it proved that this was fine, this was legal. Well, see my name's not. Sorry, I'm not gonna do it. And it's still footage of me driving.
Okay, anything else? Okay, so as far as identification, the officer's testimony is enough for probable cause to establish your ID. So I'm going to bind you over on counts 1, 2, and 3. We'll send you downtown for the next step of the proceedings. The next date is the arraignment on information, which will be next Tuesday at 9 o'clock at the circuit court level. Do you have any questions about that process? All right, I'll continue your bond. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Mr. Bradford, please listen to me. Do yourself a favor, take advantage of the court-appointed attorneys. Dude, I mean, you did a decent job with your questions today, but you're so far over your head on this thing. All right? I tell people all the time, I don't care if you're the smartest guy in the room right now. You still don't have the training and the experience to represent yourself. I know real good attorneys that don't represent themselves when they have problems. Take advantage of the attorneys. Do yourself a favor. I'll sleep tonight. Good luck downtown. Thank you, gentlemen. Be safe, officer.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Judge there. He's over his skis. He needs help.